There are landmark moments in all our lives. Points where we know we have big decisions to make. More than 10 million people in the UK are over the age of 65, which means that millions of us are facing precisely the same decisions, including how and where to live. In the same town or somewhere new, a bungalow or a flat, or maybe a retirement development. We'll be hearing from people who've already made their choice. But first, Sam Lum and Gary Peskett work for retirementmove.co.uk, an estate agency specialising in retirement properties. So it's their job to understand and explain the different options.
A retirement development, they can vary slightly. Generalising, you'd find that you must need to be an age criteria, which is at least 60 years of age. You can get into some of them if you are 60 and you have a partner of 55. That will allow you entry into them. It does not mean though you have to be retired to be in a retirement development. There's plenty of people that still go out to work on a daily basis. The retirement developments themselves, so they do vary slightly from, there's two main types, which are assisted living or what they call retirement living. They both encourage independent living. With retirement living, you find that you've got your own accommodation, be it a 1-2 bedroom flat or even a house or a bungalow, and you have communal things such as a communal residence lounge, sometimes a communal laundry, something like that. On the assisted living, a little bit more goes into it. You have to be a little bit older, that you have to be at least 70 to go into something like that. Facilities are slightly different. They have on-site restaurant, function rooms, and they have staff on there 24 hours a day.
Many people choose to go into retirement property because their current home is too big. It's been the family home and the family have now moved away. Having a retirement property then reduces the amount of property you've got to look after, reduces the amount of hassles involved with looking after that property, and also in the modern times releases bigger property for people moving up the chain.
The reason I had a 3-bedroom house after my husband died, and I found it very hard to manage because I was sick of myself at that time.
I said I chose retirement because I wanted the security and I wanted a company, and I also downsized my 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom, which I like very much.
My husband was alive at the time, but then we thought if anything happened to either one of us, we wouldn't be on our own in a 3-bedroom house, so we moved to retirement living.
People make choices, sometimes it's needs-based choice. You'll find that maybe one of their partners has passed away, they're in a big house, knocking around on their own, they're not getting many visitors, the family's a long way away. They may have had a fall or something like that. Their lifestyle has probably changed a little bit to what it was. It may be just purely a company, you know, meeting peers in the same situation as themselves. So they decide, yes, it's usually a needs-based, something usually has happened. Or we do find as well that actually, again, it's about a lifestyle change. They may have their big house somewhere. They want to keep a base over here in the UK, but at the same time, spend a lot of the time travelling, and it's a secure base that they can move, they can lock up, go away from, come back 3 months later, and they've still got the facilities of a retirement apartment.
I chose it because I thought it would be better for me health-wise, and I looked around and I looked at different apartments and I found one that I liked.
Well, it wasn't that hard really, because the thing is, I had a 3-bedroom and then I'm going down to a 1, so you think, oh, it's ideal, because I had 2 bedrooms that weren't being used.
I think probably the main appeal, I think, certainly in this I'd call retirement lifestyle, is the fact that you are mixing with your peers, people of a similar age group, similar experiences, probably similar interests actually, to be fair. But at the same time, you're still independent. You are totally independent. So you don't have to join in the social side of things if you don't want to. You close your own front door, you know, and you can just sit in and watch the TV, do what you want. And I think that's the great appeal, that it's there if you want it, But if you don't, that's fine, that's no problem as well.
You're under no obligation. You can do what you like. You know what I mean? But if you want the company, you can have it. You don't have to join in anything you don't want to.
Also, because we have a very good lounge, so that if you get a little bit fed up, you go down into the lounge, and that's where you meet everybody and you're able to have a nice conversation, and it helps the day go.
Most developments are located within areas close to local transport links, local shops, supermarkets, that kind of thing. So they're always in a easily accessible, good location.
The bus service is so good.
Outside
the buses
the
stop
door.
right outside.
It's very good.
Very good.
For the likes of getting older, there's 3 different buses that you can catch in that position, you know, because they've catered for doing that home there because of the bus service, which helps all of us.
Brilliant travel services. You've got a bus, you've got 3 buses that go to Romford, sort of different ways, and you've got a bus that goes to Hainault station, and we've got buses just outside the door, both sides. So it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Social life and location are very important, not just when you're elderly, but I think it actually becomes a priority. I think what we find, particularly location-wise, generally when people are buying a retirement apartment, there is family or close family quite nearby to where they're making their choices. Sometimes they're also buying into an area they've already got friends established, and sometimes already in the particular block they've already got a circle of friends in there. Even if they haven't, retirement living and retirement apartments are a great place to build up a new social circle. There's plenty of activities going on in most of the blocks. They do vary from location and block to block as to what people do. And if you have your own particular hobby or pastime that you want to bring to the fore, then that's always welcomed with open arms as well.
You do get more social interaction if you wish to enjoy that part of life. There's lots of other like-minded people who are homeowners within that development, and you can enjoy their company quite often at regular coffee mornings and things like that.
Well, in the lounge, once a fortnight we play bingo, and then the Wednesday afternoons and alternate Wednesday morning we have morning coffee, afternoon tea. Friday we have fish and chips. But I mean, every afternoon I go down the lounge because we sit there and, like women, we have a draw and a cup of tea and...
Sometimes what else do we do? And we do quite a lot of bits, don't we?
Some of them, they have games. They do games a couple of times a week. We also have fish and chips on a Friday night, and a Wednesday, one Wednesday a week afternoon, we have coffee or tea, and the following week it's Wednesday morning. So those who want to go down meet up.
I've made a lot of new friends since I've lived there, and also now, I never used to, but I now play bingo once a fortnight and go on trips, so that's a bonus.
So most people choose retirement living because it frees up their spare time. They don't have to worry about exterior maintenance of the property, doing the garden, things like that. It also means that they're moving into a development with similar like-minded people.
The kind of services we get is we get a window cleaner about every 6 weeks, and if we want the insides done, he charges us £3. Also, he does our wardrobe mirror, and the gardener, he comes once a month and he cuts all the grass and things like that. Whereas if you was in your house, you'd have to pay for your gardener. You'd have to pay if you needed your house painted or whatever, or if your tiles fell off the roof. And also we have a handyman, so if there's anything that wants doing, he'll come and do it, or else the house manager does it. Got a brilliant house manager.
So for many people, one of the biggest benefits of living in a retirement development is the social interaction with other people. You can attend usually a regular coffee morning, at least weekly, and spend time with other homeowners. Many developments also have lots of different social engagements going on, but it's never forced. It's always up to you whether you join in or you don't. Some things you see you might think, I fancy that, I really enjoy doing that, and other things you see you might want to step away from. It's always your decision.
Yes, I did find challenges when I moved because there's 40 residents there, and if you've been in a 3-bedroom house quite lonely, then when you get there you find that there's plenty of company and we do different things and makes life much easier.
Quite easy really, because to move from one place to another, because I used to live at sort of about 10 miles away, so I thought we just decided to, but it was quite easy really.
Well, downsizing, naturally enough, it's made a hell of a difference, as I say, but in regards to furniture and clothes, and you just have to get rid of what you don't really need, which you had all the time. So that has made, I've fitted in quite well, hasn't worried me at all.
Join us after the break for more on retirement living.
retirementmove.co.uk is a national estate agency specialising in the sale of retirement properties. That means, unlike the high street agents, retirementmove.co.uk can offer a bespoke personal service and fully understand how retirement living and the lifestyle could suit you. Our customers are specifically looking to buy retirement property all across the UK. So, if you are thinking of buying or selling a retirement property, give us a call or visit our website.
Welcome back. We've been exploring some of the options for assisted and retirement living. Many people consider purpose-built developments, as Sam Lum of retirementmove.co.uk explains.
The appeal to this lifestyle for most people who are retired or coming up to retirement is the fact that you're living in a newer, often more modern property with lots of security, lots of backup, but also you can continue to maintain to live the lifestyle that you wish to live.
Well, I go out every day. I mean, some people can't. I'm lucky. But I get up and do my work, do what I want to, then I go out for the afternoon, and I'm quite happy to come home in the evening and just watch the telly, read, do whatever I want to. As I say, you don't have to mix if you don't want to. That is a good part. You can just live your own life.
Yeah, providing you say you're amicable to people and, you know, say good morning and good afternoon and let them know that, you know, you'd like to talk. We like to talk to everybody, really, because we're all getting on in life. And as far as I can see, I recommend that very much, to downsize a house if they find it too much for them.
Service charge and maintenance costs in the block, they do vary from block to block and location, and depending on what kind of service that you do have within the development itself. As I said before, I touched upon before, there's two main types. There's retirement living and there's assisted living. Assisted living has 24-hour staff there on site all the time. It is a little bit more expensive. Retirement living, they have house managers there, generally 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, but they also have a 24-hour call system, an alarm system, care system if you like. So there is coverage that way. The way that I would look at the service charge, the maintenance costs, is if I compare it to the upkeep of my house at home, it probably works out very similar with all the maintenance costs and keeping the house going, or maybe having the gardener come in, something like that. With retirement living, retirement properties, all this hassle is taken out for you. You do have a house manager here who does all the things that you don't want the aggravation for.
This would affect most people's utility bills because they won't have things like gas bills. Most developments include the water in with a service charge. So for most developments, you've only got your electricity bill, council tax, interior contents insurance, and telephone line.
Definitely, I've had finance, more so with the heating, and quite a few other things when you think of what we get done, like the gardening, the laundry, and things like that. I'm better off, definitely.
The financial benefits was I didn't have any gas bill because there's no gas, and I didn't have any water rates to pay, so that was sort of a saving for where I live now, or where I used to live.
And the same applies to me. I'm very much better off, and I like the company. I go walking quite a lot, and we're all all of us are in the same sort of boat. We're all getting older, and we find running a 3-bedroom house was too much. So I've now downsized to 1 bedroom.
Because you haven't got to keep worrying about, oh, I wonder if I need new tiles on the roof, or I wonder if I need outside painting, but that all gets done. And the garden, don't have to worry about the garden because we've got a gardener.
Part exchange doesn't suit every buyer, or for that matter every property, but for most people it does mean that you remove the chain, you have a cash offer, and also it removes estate agents' fees, therefore enabling you to move quicker than you normally would.
The process most people sort of go through is, first of all, they decide where they want to go, location-wise. With retirement apartments, perhaps it becomes a little bit more focused on not so much necessarily an area, it may be a specific block in particular as well. Once they've decided at that point they want to go into this block or be this area, then the next process is, what do we want in there? Are we looking for a 1-bedroom flat or a 2-bedroom flat? 1-bedroom flats are generally more common, to be honest with you. When they're built, they build them roughly more in a ratio sort of 6-7 to 1. So they're more likely to come across a 1-bedroom. At that point, then it's very similar to a traditional house purchase. Obviously, some people are fortunate enough that they don't have to sell their own, so they can make a purchase straight out of cash. Otherwise, obviously, they need to put their property on the market themselves, and via their local estate agent, hopefully find a buyer that way.
We went and had a look at sort of the one Romford Home Church, and we sort of thought, yeah, I like the retirement living. But then when my daughter was coming over, she's saying to us, they're building at one of them in Collier Row. So we thought, oh, we'll ring up. So we're going sort of they took all particulars, and we had a ride by there every now and again to see how they was getting on. So that's it, because it was a bit nearer. My husband didn't like to go to the Home Church in Romford, but Collier Row was all right, it wasn't too far away.
I was introduced to look round about different places, different apartments, and I found one that I liked, so I took it, and I'm very glad I did.
The valuation will be carried out by a chartered surveyor, usually one with local knowledge of the area. He will also speak to the local estate agents who have experience of selling similar properties to get a feel to what's actually been sold locally and recently, to give an idea of prices. But he will also be carrying out a traditional bricks and mortar survey to make sure that the property is sound and in relatively good condition.
In fact, I've spoken to people and they've turned around and said to me, "You've sold my place already."
Yeah.
See, people, the trouble is, unless you speak to somebody, you don't realise what goes on, what you're entitled to, like in there. See, people who've never done it, I often speak to them, like perhaps at the bus stop, and they ask, and they say, "Oh, it's, a lot better than I thought it was." In regards to like the water rates and the garden, all the things you get coming with your service charge.
So there's, so much good for it, isn't there, really, when you think of all the amenities that we can have. And most of all, I find, you're not lonely. If you feel a little bit down, you just go down in the lounge and they say, "Oh, hello, and do you want a cup of tea?" And I think that helps a great deal.
If anything drastic were to happen, The property obviously will be dealt with by your beneficiaries or the executors of your will. It's the same process of any other house or flat up and down the country. You can sell it either via a local estate agent or by a specialist company. Works exactly the same way, and then you can rest assured that your investment will be sold in the long term.
The best advice I could give anybody who's coming up to retirement is to plan what they want from life. Take the time to plan where you want to live. Take the time to plan how you're going to achieve your goals in later life. At the end of the day, retirement is a massive shift in your current living situation.
Right, as I say, there's another good thing to it. Downsizing, housing being so short, it makes it good for other people that need a bigger place. And on top of it, although I've gave a 3-bedroom up, we've got a guest room so that if I need to put anybody up, I can put them up in there.
Advice I would give to someone who's coming up to retirement or has maybe just hit retirement, just slightly over, I certainly think our lifestyles have all changed now. We are all living a little bit longer. We are all getting older. What I would probably suggest to them is if they have the opportunity, at least, if not to go in and view a retirement complex to see what it's like. But I certainly think it's one of these things that I think very much is future-proof. I think you've got the chance of downsizing. Most people have got sort of fairly large semi-detached house or something like that, and go to downsize, maybe a 1 or a 2-bedroom apartment, and go out and enjoy yourself.
My final thoughts on retirement would be, do you want to live somewhere where you are more secure? You've got more social interaction with other homeowners, and you've got good backup and fast responses from emergency services should you need them. This gives your family a fantastic peace of mind and also keeps you engaged and gives you a nice, happy, secure lifestyle.
I'm quite happy there. I mean, I came from Barkingside, but I like it there. As I say, everything is so convenient for shops and buses, so that is a good improvement, really.
Well, I found that living in a 3-bedroom house, and it was right on the end, and all my neighbours went to work, and I found it quite lonely there. But since I go into, an apartment, I'm much happier, and I felt quite good.
We probably stay retired a lot longer than our forefathers probably did. So I think it's about making the right choice at the right time. And most importantly, enjoying your retirement with your peers, with your family, and with your friends.
I found it very difficult when I first moved because there's a lot of us out in the apartment and we go down to the lounge. I did find that difficult to settle in, but now I've settled in, I find it, very, very good, and I'm happy there.
Important thing to do when you've decided on the general location of where you want to be is possibly to make a tick list of what you would like to have close to your own home. That might be transport links for visiting other areas or family. It could be that there's plenty of cafes and restaurants in the area. But that's definitely something that you need to do, and also do a little bit of research on the internet and make sure the area that you want is really what you do want.
Get used to different surroundings and different people, but you find in time how grateful you are that there's people there always to have a talk with, to make the day go. We go walking, we do many things there, which all helps as you're getting older, so you don't go stagnant. You get more fitter because you talk more and you meet people.
Preparing for retirement is preparing for the next 20 years or more. Any plans about where you live should include some future proofing. You're likely to find travel more exciting, knowing there's a secure home to return to, or derive more pleasure from time alone when that's balanced with time spent in the company of family and friends. Allow yourself sufficient space to reflect and to research, so that ultimately you can feel relaxed about the decisions you make.